There's a kind of tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. You go to bed at a reasonable hour. You stay there through the night. But you wake up feeling like you barely rested at all. It's not because you stayed up too late or drank too much coffee. It's a deeper kind of fatigue. A quiet, persistent heaviness that follows you into the morning. And no matter how much effort you put into your life, your work, your relationships, your responsibilities, it always feels like you're pushing through fog. Things get done, but they don't flow. Money comes in, but it never seems to stay. Rest is rare. Momentum is slow. If any of that feels familiar, pause for a moment, not to blame yourself, but to consider something most people overlook. The way your bedroom is arranged, especially the position of your bed, may be silently working against you. It's not superstition. It's not magic. It's alignment. Because here's the truth: your bed isn't just where your body rests. It's where your energy restores. And when that space is out of sync, when energy is scattered, instead of gathered, your efforts start to feel heavier than they should. Your sleep loses its power. And life doesn't quite move forward, even when you're doing everything right. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 of the most common bedroom mistakes people make: quiet, seemingly harmless things that slowly drain your energy, your clarity, and, yes, your prosperity. These aren't abstract theories or ancient rules. They're real patterns I've seen, again and again, in real homes, with real people who were simply trying to feel better. And once they made a few small changes, the results often surprised them. So before you buy another planner, another pillow, or another supplement, look at where you sleep. Let's start there. Part 1. Nothing supports you from behind. There's a simple question most people never ask about their bed, and it's this: when you lie down at night, what is actually supporting you? Not metaphorically, physically, energetically. What's behind your head when your body finally lets go? Because for many homes, the answer is surprisingly unclear. The bed floats in the middle of the room, or the headboard sits in front of a window, or there's empty space, a gap, something open and exposed behind where your head rests every single night. And at first glance, it doesn't seem like a problem. The room still looks nice. The bed is comfortable. You fall asleep. But over time, something subtle begins to happen. Your sleep never feels fully restorative. You wake up with tension you can't explain. Life feels slightly unstable, as if you're always bracing for something, even on calm days. In Feng Shui, we talk about the idea of backing, but you don't need to know the term to recognize the feeling. It's the difference between sitting in a chair that has a solid back versus one that doesn't. Your body responds instantly. With support, your muscles soften. Without it, something stays alert. The same thing happens when you sleep. When your bed has a solid wall directly behind the headboard, your nervous system receives a quiet message all night long: you are protected. You are held. Nothing is coming from behind you. That message allows your body to fully stand down. But when that backing is missing, the body never completely relaxes. You may sleep, but you don't fully settle. What makes this especially important is that sleep is not just rest. Sleep is repair. It's when your system recalibrates, when stress hormones drop, when clarity quietly rebuilds itself. If the body stays slightly guarded all night, that repair process never finishes. Over time, this shows up in very practical ways. People describe feeling like they're always on. They work hard, but progress feels fragile. They make plans, but things shift unexpectedly. Support comes and goes. Confidence rises and falls. Not dramatically, just enough to feel tiring. This isn't bad luck. It's what happens when the place meant to restore you never quite lets you land. Imagine trying to recharge your phone on a loose outlet. The phone stays plugged in, but the charge never reaches 100%. You wake up each day running on 80, then 75, then a little less. That's what sleeping without proper backing does over time. The bed becomes a place where the body rests, but the deeper system, the one responsible for stability and resilience, stays half awake, scanning, waiting. And when that happens night after night, life begins to mirror that same instability. Money comes in but doesn't anchor. Opportunities appear but don't solidify. Nothing collapses, but nothing fully holds either. This is why the position of the head of the bed matters more than almost anything else in the bedroom. A solid wall behind your headboard is not about decoration or rules. It's about containment. It gives your energy something to rest against. When that support exists, people often notice changes quickly. Sleep deepens. Mornings feel calmer. Decisions feel less reactive. There's a subtle but real sense of being steadier in your own life. Not because anything external changed, but because your system finally had a place to settle. If your room layout allows it, the simplest correction is to place the head of your bed directly against a solid wall, no windows, no sliding doors, no open space. If that isn't possible, support can still be created. A tall, sturdy headboard, a solid screen, even a firm visual boundary behind the bed can help signal safety to the body. What matters is that when you lie down, there is a clear sense of nothing behind me needs my attention. This might sound small, but small changes at the level of rest have large effects everywhere else. Because the way you sleep shapes the way you show up. When your body finally feels supported at night, it stops compensating during the day. And when compensation ends, energy becomes available again for clarity, for consistency, for forward movement that doesn't feel forced. This is why starting with the bed matters. Before we talk about money, or opportunity, or momentum, we have to make sure there's something solid behind you when you rest. Because without that, everything else has to work harder than it should. And as we move into the next section, you'll see how even when the bed looks supported, certain details can quietly undo that sense of safety without you realizing it. Part 2. The mirror that steals your energy. Most people don't think twice about mirrors in a bedroom. In fact, many homes have them by default on closet doors, dressers, vanities. A mirror can make a room feel bigger. It reflects light. It's convenient. But here's something few people realize: a mirror doesn't just reflect you. It holds you in motion. And in the space where you're supposed to be still, where your energy is meant to settle, constant motion is the last thing you need. The bedroom is the one place in the home where everything should soften. The lights, the air, your thoughts, your breath. At night, your energy naturally wants to return inward, to repair and restore. But when a mirror faces your bed, something shifts. Instead of your energy settling around your body like a soft blanket, it begins to scatter. Because mirrors reflect. They multiply. They keep things in motion. That reflection of your sleeping body is not harmless. It's movement. It's stimulation. It pulls attention even if your eyes are closed. Your nervous system senses it. And instead of winding down, it stays slightly on guard. That's why so many people with mirrors facing their bed report similar patterns. They fall asleep but toss and turn. They wake in the middle of the night and don't know why. They feel like they slept, but somehow they're still tired. Over time, this subtle disruption begins to show up in bigger ways. Focus becomes harder to hold. Emotions feel a little more fragile. Money comes in but doesn't stay. Ideas start but don't quite finish. It's not a coincidence. In Feng Shui, we say energy behaves like water. If you can't contain it, you can't benefit from it. A mirror that reflects your bed is like poking a hole in that container, letting everything leak out, night after night. You don't have to believe in energy to feel the effects. Imagine this: you're trying to fall asleep, and someone stands in the room watching you. They don't move, they don't speak, but you know they're there. You'd never fully relax. That's what a mirror does. It doesn't blink, it doesn't rest, it just reflects. And that reflection becomes a kind of silent noise. Even in darkness, even in silence, it pulls at the edge of your awareness. Over time, your body learns not to fully let go. Some people say, "But I've had a mirror for years and I sleep just fine." And maybe that's true. But what if your fine could become rested? What if you don't even know how much energy you're losing because you've gotten used to feeling halfway? This isn't about fear. It's about optimization. You don't need to remove every mirror in your home. You only need to be intentional about where they are and where they're pointing. If there's a mirror that directly faces your bed, whether it's on a wall, a dresser, or a mirrored closet, cover it at night. Use a curtain, a shawl, a soft piece of fabric. It doesn't need to be permanent. Just something that tells your body you are not being watched. If you can move the mirror, even better. Let it reflect something calm: a wall, a soft light, a grounded surface. And if you're designing your room from scratch, think of mirrors like windows. They open energy. And where you sleep, you want energy to close gently around you. Once the mirror is redirected or removed, people often notice changes quickly. Sleep deepens. Their dreams become clearer. They wake up more rested. But the real difference is quieter than that. There's a shift in how the day begins. A sense of steadiness that wasn't there before. Less mental noise, less emotional reactivity. More energy left for what actually matters. Because when rest returns, so does clarity. When energy stops leaking out into reflections, it begins to gather. And gathered energy is what turns ideas into action. It's what allows you to respond instead of react. It's what lets you hold on to money instead of watching it drift away. That's why this step matters so much. It's not about superstition. It's about design. You are designing a space that supports your nervous system, your focus, your momentum. You are creating a room that doesn't just look peaceful, but actually feels like a place where peace can grow. And as we move into the next part of this journey, you'll see how energy behaves when it's forced to move too fast. Because there's one bed placement mistake that doesn't just scatter energy, it rushes it in and out so quickly. There's no time for anything to stay. Not sleep, not money, not stability. We'll talk about that next. But for now, take a quiet look at your room. What's reflecting you back when all you want is to rest? Part 3. Your bed faces the door, so energy never stays. There's a quiet rhythm to every home: a way energy enters, slows down, and settles. But sometimes, without realizing it, we place ourselves right in the middle of that movement. And nowhere does this show up more clearly than when your bed is aligned directly with the bedroom door. You might not think twice about it. After all, the bed fits there. It feels natural. But when you lie down in direct line with the door, something strange begins to happen. Rest never feels grounded. Focus feels short-lived. Progress feels like a sprint that starts and stops. And the harder you try to hold on to momentum, financial, emotional, or physical, the faster it seems to slip away. In Feng Shui, the door is called the mouth of Qi, the entry point where energy flows into a space. But just as important as how energy comes in is what it does once it arrives. Ideally, it should enter gently, circulate the room, then settle. That's how support builds. But when your bed is placed right in line with the door, there's no room for that process. The energy shoots in like a gust of wind and rushes straight through. And when you sleep in that direct path night after night, your body absorbs that movement. Instead of recharging in stillness, your system stays exposed to constant energetic motion. It may not feel dramatic, but over time, it begins to drain something essential: your ability to feel stable. People often describe this placement in very personal terms. I can't hold on to money. Opportunities show up and disappear. Every time I start something, something else pulls me away. Life doesn't fall apart, it just doesn't hold. And more often than not, the body reflects that too. Rest feels inconsistent. You wake often, even if you can't remember why. Your mind feels alert before you even open your eyes. There's a subtle anxiety that's hard to name and harder to calm. What's important to understand is that none of this is about weakness. It's about placement. When your bed is exposed to the same pathway that delivers movement into the room, it becomes a transition point rather than a sanctuary. And just like a chair in a hallway never feels restful, a bed in direct alignment with the door can never fully gather energy. The body knows this, even if the mind doesn't. Fortunately, this is one of the easiest shifts to correct. The ideal placement is what's called the command position, where you can see the door while lying in bed, but are not directly in line with it. That way, your body maintains a sense of awareness without being in the middle of constant flow. If moving the bed isn't possible, you can still redirect the energy gently. Place a soft barrier between the door and the bed: a tall plant, a folding screen, a bookshelf, even a thick rug on the floor. These don't block the energy, they slow it down, give it space to circulate, and create a sense of arrival before the energy reaches you. This isn't about blocking life out. It's about pacing. You want the energy that enters your room to feel like a visitor who takes off their shoes and stays a while, not someone who rushes in and leaves just as quickly. Because in real life, that's how progress is built. When energy can pause, gather, and integrate, it creates momentum that lasts. And here's something many people don't realize until later: the way energy behaves in your bedroom often reflects how life feels outside of it. If your bed is in the path of rushing energy, you may find yourself always chasing calm, doing more, planning harder, trying to catch something that never quite stays. But when the flow of the room slows down, something inside you does too. And from that inner stillness, clarity returns. The kind of clarity that doesn't need to push. So take a moment tonight to look at your bedroom door, not just with your eyes, but with your body. When you lie down, do you feel watched? Exposed? Or is there a sense of space between you and the world outside the door? Because that space, no matter how small, is where energy learns to pause. And where energy pauses, it begins to stay. Rest becomes deeper. Ideas land instead of floating away. And the things that matter, your money, your focus, your sense of peace, don't just come. They start to remain. In the next part, we'll look at something even more subtle. A hidden energy drain that doesn't come from above or from the door, but from the very architecture of the home itself. It's a kind of downward pull that most people sleep next to without knowing it, and it's one of the quietest, most persistent ways your energy slips away. We'll explore that soon. Part 4. Too close to the bathroom or stairs. Some spaces don't speak loudly. They don't slam doors or cast shadows. But they pull at you quietly, persistently, without saying a word. And two of the most underestimated spaces in a home are the bathroom and the staircase. On their own, they serve clear purposes. But when placed too close to where you sleep, they can become gentle but constant drains on your rest, your clarity, and your ability to recover. Let's start with the bathroom. It's the place in the home designed to release, cleanse, flush away. And for that reason, in Feng Shui, the bathroom carries downward energy. Not negative, just pulling. Water drains. Toxins exit. Energy moves out. This is necessary, but not when you're trying to rest right next to it. When your bed shares a wall with a bathroom, or even worse, is placed back to back with a toilet or shower, your body is lying next to a current of release. And though your eyes may close and your muscles may relax, your energy feels that pull. It's subtle, but over time, it leaves a mark. People often describe this experience in emotional terms. I sleep enough, but I'm always low. I'm not overwhelmed. Just flat. I keep waiting to feel better, but nothing really shifts. These aren't dramatic complaints. They're quiet ones. And that's exactly how the problem works, silently. Not in ways that wake you up, but in ways that slowly chip away at your reserves. Your body's trying to rebuild, but part of your energy is always leaking through the wall. Now let's talk about stairs. Stairs bring movement up and down, momentum, change. And while that's helpful during the day, it becomes disruptive when it happens near your place of rest. When a bed is placed too close to a staircase, whether right next to it, underneath it, or on a wall that vibrates with every footstep, energy never settles. The body may lie still, but something keeps moving inside. It's like sleeping beside a flowing river. You're not drowning, but you're not fully anchored either. This can show up in very specific ways. Thoughts race even when you're tired. Emotions rise and fall without clear cause. One day you feel motivated, the next day strangely hollow. The ups and downs feel internal, but they're often echoes of the environment. When energy moves constantly outside of you, it becomes harder to stay emotionally centered within. The line between inside and outside blurs, and your rest stops being rest. It becomes resistance, holding yourself together in a space that won't stop spinning. Here's what makes both of these situations so tricky. Most people don't connect their exhaustion to where their bed is. They look at their to-do list, their diet, their screen time, and while those things matter, sometimes the issue is as simple as what's behind your headboard, or what's humming under your floor. And because the effects build slowly, you learn to live with them. You stop expecting to feel refreshed. You begin calling it normal. But it's not normal, it's just common. And like all common problems, it can be changed. If your bed is next to a bathroom, the first step is to create a seal, symbolic and physical. Close the bathroom door at night, always. It sounds small, but it immediately shifts the flow of energy. If the bed shares a wall with the bathroom, especially behind the toilet or plumbing, place a small plant near that wall. Something alive, something rooted. Plants absorb energy, soften downward pull, and offer balance without noise. You can also add a natural material, wood, stone, fabric between the bed and the wall. These aren't decorations, they're buffers. For staircases, the goal is to slow movement. Not stop it, just quiet it. A thick rug at the base or top of the stairs helps anchor the flow. A soft light, a low piece of furniture, a grounding object placed nearby can all shift the tone from rush to pause. If the staircase is on the other side of a wall, reinforce the bedroom side with weight, a bookshelf, a padded headboard, something that signals this is a place to stop. It's not about blocking the world out. It's about reminding the body where the stillness lives. You spend your days moving, giving, adjusting. Night should be different. Night should be the place where the current ends, where nothing is required of you, where you are not pulled or pushed, but simply allowed to be. And when that stillness returns, when energy no longer leaks or rushes, you may notice something surprising. You don't have to try so hard to feel better. Your body begins to recover on its own. The mind quiets without being told. Emotions smooth out, not because you control them, but because the space no longer agitates them. So tonight, take one quiet step. Close the bathroom door. Look at the stairs. Listen. Is the space around your bed moving when what you need is stillness? These are the kinds of questions most people never think to ask. But the answers can change everything. Next, we'll look up. Because even if everything around your bed seems calm, there's one place where pressure can build without you realizing it, directly above your head. And when that pressure isn't lifted, no amount of rest can truly release it. Part 5. A beam overhead that presses without touching. Sometimes, a room looks peaceful but something still feels off. The colors are soft, the bedding is clean, the furniture is arranged just right. But the person sleeping there still wakes up tired. Their shoulders feel tight, their breath feels shallow. Their dreams, if they remember them at all, are restless. And when they try to describe it, the words don't come easily. It's not fear, it's not chaos. It's more like a quiet weight pressing down that never really lifts. Often, when I walk into these rooms, I don't have to look far. Because the weight isn't emotional, it's architectural. It's the beam right above the bed. A solid, structural element that most people don't notice until they feel its effects. A beam doesn't make noise. It doesn't move. But it carries density. And that density, sitting directly above your body as you sleep, can become a source of invisible pressure you feel every single night. In Feng Shui, this is called sha kai, a kind of cutting, compressing energy. Not because the beam is dangerous, but because the body is intelligent. Even when your mind is asleep, your nervous system is awake. It scans for safety. It senses overhead pressure, and it doesn't relax. You may fall asleep, but the sleep is light. Your chest stays slightly tense. Your muscles don't fully release. And over time, that subtle tension becomes a daily reality. People describe the symptoms with surprising similarity. I clench my jaw at night. I wake up with tight shoulders. I sleep, but I never feel loose. In waking life, the pattern mirrors back. Plans feel heavier than they should. Progress feels like it's always uphill. You work hard, but it doesn't feel natural. It feels like effort layered on top of effort. You hold it together, but nothing holds you. The beam doesn't cause all of this, of course, but it plays a role. Because rest is a partnership between your body and your space. And when something above you signals weight, even silently, it adds to the load you carry through the night. Imagine lying under a stone ceiling. Even if it never falls, your body knows it's there, and that knowing changes how deeply you let go. This becomes especially important for people who already carry a lot of responsibility, pressure, decision-making, caregiving. When your days are heavy, your nights should not be. You shouldn't have to keep holding the ceiling up with your breath. You shouldn't have to carry the weight of the room just to rest in it. So how do you fix it? The best solution is always structural. If possible, move the bed out from under the beam. Even shifting it a few feet can reduce the direct pressure. But when that's not an option, and often it isn't, you can soften the impact in gentle ways. Start by lifting the visual weight. A light fabric canopy above the bed creates a layer of softness that breaks the line of force. You're not pretending the beam isn't there. You're redirecting the message it sends. Another tool is lighting. Warm, upward-facing lights placed near the floor help push energy upward. It's not just about illumination, it's about reshaping how the room feels. You can also introduce vertical elements, tall plants, standing lamps, anything that pulls the eye up gently and adds life and light to the overhead space. Sound and movement help too. A wind chime near the window. A crystal prism catching morning sun. Small shifts that bring motion into stillness. Because stagnant weight becomes more bearable when it's allowed to flow. These aren't just visual tricks. They're signals to your body. Messages that say you're safe. You're not under threat. You can exhale now. And once the body believes that something starts to shift, sleep goes deeper. Breath reaches lower. Emotions don't stick as long. The tension you used to call normal begins to loosen. Because the truth is, pressure doesn't always come from your job or your life or your circumstances. Sometimes, it comes from the space you're trying to rest in. And when that space stops pressing down, you realize just how much energy was being used to hold yourself up. So tonight, before you lie down, look up. Not with fear. Just with awareness. Is there something above you your body still responds to even in sleep? And if there is, ask yourself, how can I soften it? How can I give myself permission to rest under something that doesn't weigh on me? In the next part, we'll go lower. Because while overhead pressure compresses from above, there's another kind of burden many people sleep on without realizing it. It's the weight stored beneath them, old objects, past versions of themselves, forgotten things that quietly pull energy down. And when you rest directly on top of them, they don't just take up space. They hold you back. We'll talk about that next. Part 6. Storing the past right under your spine. Most people think of the space under their bed as practical. A place to tuck away extra linens, shoes, out-of-season clothes, old boxes. It's convenient, it's hidden. It keeps the room looking clean. But in Feng Shui, that space is not meant for storage. It's meant to breathe. Because just like your lungs need room to expand, your energy needs room to circulate while you sleep. And when that space is blocked, even by seemingly harmless things, something subtle begins to happen. Rest feels heavier, emotions linger longer, and life somehow keeps feeling stuck in the same old loop. At first, it's hard to see the connection. After all, how could a few boxes under your bed affect your mood, your motivation, or your ability to move forward? But if you've ever woken up after 8 hours of sleep and still felt tired, if you've ever had days where everything feels like a repeat of yesterday, if your heart feels heavy, even when nothing is technically wrong, there's a chance the weight isn't coming from your schedule, it's coming from what's directly beneath you. Because here's the truth, everything you store carries energy. Not just physical weight, but emotional residue. Clothes you haven't worn in years carry the version of you who wore them. Old letters, broken objects, clutter from past chapters, they don't just sit quietly. They echo. And when you place your body on top of them, night and after night, your energy rests on everything those items represent. Your present lies on top of your past. And even though you don't see it, your system feels it. Some people describe it like this: I sleep, but I never feel clear. There's a heaviness I can't shake. I keep thinking about things I thought I was over. The connection isn't always obvious, but the results are consistent. Energy becomes stagnant. Emotions feel sluggish. Forward motion gets delayed, not because you're not trying hard enough, but because the foundation beneath you hasn't been cleared. The body is sensitive. It responds not just to how we live, but to what we live above. That's why beds in Feng Shui are treated as sacred, not symbolic. Sacred in the most practical sense, as the center of your renewal, your battery. and a battery can't charge properly when something is interfering with the current from below. The good news is, this is one of the easiest things to shift, and the impact is often immediate. The first step is simple: clear out the space under your bed completely. Not halfway, not organized clutter, empty. Let that space be still. Let it be quiet. Let it do what it's meant to do: support your rest, not store your memories. If you must store something under your bed due to space constraints, choose with great care. Only soft, clean, light objects, fresh bedding, seasonal clothing, things that feel nurturing, not nostalgic. No cardboard boxes. No electronics. No items from a time in your life you've already moved past. Energy doesn't know the difference between just for now and I'm still holding on. It only knows what's there. Once the space is cleared, take a moment to actually feel it. Lie on your bed and imagine air moving freely beneath you, light reaching into a space that hasn't seen it in years. Even just a few inches of openness below you changes how energy moves through your body. That lightness has a ripple effect. You may feel it in your dreams, in your breath, in your emotions softening without explanation, in the sudden urge to make new plans or finally let go of old ones. And if you want to take it one step further, you can introduce intention. A small cotton pad with a drop of lavender or sandalwood oil placed under the bed for one night. Not to fix anything, just to remind the space and yourself that this is a place of restoration, not storage. Because when the space beneath you can breathe, you can breathe. When you no longer lie on top of forgotten versions of yourself, you stop carrying their weight. And what rises in their absence is something both gentle and powerful: clarity. Lightness. Forward motion that no longer requires force. This is the final layer. You've adjusted what's behind you, what reflects you, what rushes toward you, what pulls at you from the side, what weighs on you from above. And now, what you've been sleeping on. 6 small shifts, 1 deeply supported space. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, what am I lying on? Not just physically, but energetically. And more importantly, am I willing to release it? Because real rest doesn't begin with sleep. It begins with what you're no longer holding on to. Final. If you've stayed with me through this journey, you've probably noticed something: none of these changes are loud. None of them require tearing walls down or buying anything new. What they require more than anything is presence. Attention. A willingness to look again at the space that holds you and ask gently, is this helping me rest or making me carry more? You've seen how support can be missing even in a beautiful room. How a mirror, a door, a beam, or a cluttered corner can shift your energy night after night. Not dramatically, quietly, like a tide you didn't notice at first, but now you feel it. And now that you feel it, you can change it. Because your bed is more than furniture. It's the place where your body stops fighting, where your breath softens, where your energy rebuilds. And when that space is aligned behind you, above you, beneath you, life begins to move forward again, with less resistance and more ease. Not because you tried harder, but because you finally stopped needing to. You deserve a space that doesn't just look restful, but makes rest real. You deserve to wake up not just less tired, but more alive. More steady, more yourself. So tonight, maybe for the first time in a long time, walk into your bedroom with new eyes. Feel into what supports you, what reflects you, what might be rushing towards you, what you're lying on, and what's lying on you. And if something needs to change, know this: you have the power to shift it gently, quietly, completely. Thank you for sharing this space with me, for listening, for feeling, for allowing even one part of this message to reach you. I hope your room becomes softer. I hope your nights become quieter. And I hope truly that your energy begins to return in ways that surprise you. Sleep well tonight, and let tomorrow come to you gently.